Hi, I'm Dan Casas-Murray, a friend of the Alchemist CDC and a small business advisor at the Metro Business Center in Sacramento. My colleagues and I help small businesses like yours with entity questions, planning, marketing, and other general business activities. We're also funded by Sacramento County for now, so any services we provide are free of charge to you, at least for the next few months, but more on that later. What I'd like to talk about right now is one of my most favorite subjects, the business model canvas. So the business model canvas is an open source tool that visualizes your entire business on one sheet of paper. You know, that stuff that you've been thinking about, like how much to charge people, where to produce, how to get customers in the door, and what it's all going to cost. All of that, plus more details, can fit on the canvas. And you know the thing that I like most about it? Actually, there's two things. It helps me put all those thoughts in their own boxes, and it arranges all those thoughts automatically. No app, just a handy low-tech diagram. There are 9 convenient little boxes to put everything in. Let's look at the center box first. This one is called value proposition, but it's really just what you have that your customers want. And speaking of customers, let's look at this box now, the customer segments box. This is really just where you group the kinds of people that you feed. You know, sometimes families, sometimes people on dates, sometimes folks on their lunch breaks. We separate them out here because how we market to them is different based on their situations. So they become different customer segments. And when we break these out into groups, we can start thinking about and creating the experiences that we want them to have. Now, these two blocks sort of create a bridge between us and our customers. Our channels box is how we advertise and deliver our delicacies, and our relationship box just tells us how our customer likes to buy from us. It can be transactional, bundled, standing orders, or even lifetime catering contracts. Also of note, but not anything to get too in the weeds in for now, is that all of these can be different depending on each segment. So the value proposition and the customer box, plus the other bits in between, make up what I like to call the right side of the canvas, a sort of front of house view of your business model. Let's jump over to the other side, the left side. I feel like the two boxes that make the most sense in the beginning are the key activities and the key resources boxes. The key resources are those things we need to just make it happen. And the activities are what we do with those things. Now, just one box to the left of that is the key partners box. These are the people that help us make it happen. In these left side boxes, I like to think of it as the back of house operations. We're really just discussing the people, supplies, equipment, and ingredients we need to make the operation work. So right side equals front of the house and left side equals back of the house. I feel like that's pretty cool. Okay, so now let's look at the last piece, the dreaded finances. Filling it out is relatively easy. Starting with the revenues, going back to the front of the house idea, imagine this as your point of sale. We're just looking to plan out how we'll charge each customer segment. Individuals pay a fee every time they eat, and maybe couples pay the same way, only their checks are usually for 2 people. Catering customers will usually also pay once, unless we've landed that sweet lifetime deal, but it's usually for a lot more folks than the onesies or the twosies. So there, we've established what kinds of revenues we can make with our business. The other side is the cost side. All the things we'll have to pay to staff, equip, and make our yummy comestibles. The trick to the financial side is comparing costs and revenues. If we see costs as apples and revenues as oranges, well, it's no wonder that it can be confusing. But when we realize that both apples and oranges are fruit, we can compare costs and revenues a whole new way using the common language of numbers. These details get beyond the scope of this video, but just remember this. To generate profit, what comes in should be greater than what goes out. And there are folks at the Metro Business Center that can help you sort out the details. And that's the business model canvas in a nutshell. When I fill it out, I always like to figure out the front of the house first by understanding my customers really well. Then I'll move the revenues. After that, I'll see how I can produce what I need using the left side, and then we'll finish up with a cost estimation. One final check to see if everything is realistic, and that'll be it. I like to keep the canvas in a living state, so it's not just one thing I fill out and forget about. I'll fill it out, post it so I can see it, and then eventually it'll live in my head, so when something changes, I'll know what to do. And when things do get too complicated, I'll unpost it and revisit it so I can regain a little sanity. So remember at the beginning of this video, I mentioned the Metro Business Center? Well, being an entrepreneur is overwhelming for sure. Between the front of the house and the back of the house, I don't know about you, but it makes my brain hurt. I just don't have enough brain space to learn everything I need to know. Enter the Metro Business Center. Think of us as a bunch of subject matter experts you can access when you have questions about the things that come up. We can help you learn and figure things out like registrations, networking, the business model canvas, finances, operations, human resources, branding, and marketing. We can also help you stay on track. If you go to the metrobusinesscenter.org, go to the bottom and fill out the contact form. We're currently funded until the end of this year, so to get some free, meaningful work done together, I'd recommend contacting us before the end of September. Well, that's it from me. Thanks for letting me share the business model canvas, and I'm wishing you the best of luck at The Alchemist.